Good afternoon to all of you. Let us begin the session with a brief introduction. My name is Himangi Bhatia. I have done my PG diploma in diet and nutrition, and I'm also a certified sports nutritionist from Nirmala Niketan College, Mumbai. I'm a practicing nutritionist and I have my setup in Bandra. I see clients every day for various diet related issues, right from weight loss to clinical issues, to sports nutrition consulting diets. My passion in this field particularly is related to the clinical side of diet. Clinical side in the sense that today we see there is so much suffering in the world. There are so many different types of ailments. There are so many different types of illnesses. And I strongly believe in the power of nutritionist. Being a dietitian, I feel that food is one of the best remedies that can help us cure out of all our sicknesses, out of all our symptoms. Be it a minor sickness related to your stomach disorders or a major illness like kidney failure, cancer, people have been able to recoup themselves out of those sickness just by the power of diet and nutrition also. So that's the reason the topic of the day today is disorders of the digestive system and their natural cures. Our digestive system is one of the base systems of the body, and unfortunately today, being a nutritionist, I feel it's one of the most misused system because our lifestyles have gone haywire. There have been erratic work schedules. There has been so much stress and anxiety in our day-to-day lives. Our dependence on outside food has increased so much. Today we consume packaged and refined foods much more than what our ancestors used to do. So because of that, it all has an ill effect on our stomach and all its digestive organs. The causes of abdominal disorders, like I told you, are varied and multiple. Mainly they occur due to defective systems of digestion and absorption of food in our body. Now this could be due to any hormonal imbalance. This could be due to misusing your own body by incorrect, unhealthy eating habits. Many a times they also occur due to psychosomatic factors like stress, anxiety, nervousness. Now to maintain good health, it is very important to eat the right type of food, and also alongside we need to learn to relax and be free from our emotional upsets. It's very important to enjoy your meal, to eat in peace, and that is how your body is going to derive the nutrition from the food that we consume in our day-to-day diet. Now, the internet today has been flooded with 10,000 theories on diet and nutrition in the market. Right from high protein to low carbs to zero fat, there are n number of diets. But still, there is so much misconception. Still, people are not aware of what healthy eating is. Still, on our day-to-day basis, we do so many mistakes where diet is concerned because still we are not sure of what we are doing. Some of the very commonly wrongly eating habits, wrong mistakes that we do is eating fruits with or immediately after your meals. This is still a practice in many homes. People still mix fruits with your cooked meals. Now the logic is, the science is that a fruit being a natural produce, it's pure fiber, it's potent of all vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. It's a powerhouse of nutrients, of a very direct source of glucose for the body. A fruit requires very minimal time for digestion in the body. It could be anywhere from 30 minutes to maximum an hour. Whereas your cooked food, for example your cooked cereals or meats, take a longer time to be assimilated in the body. Your cereals could take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to be digested. And when we talk about non-vegetarian foods or meats, depending on the way they are cooked, on the way they have been processed, they could take as longer as 4 to 10 hours to be broken down by the body and be digested. So the end result is, when you combine your cooked food with a fruit, it disrupts the system. The body does not derive the nutrition from the fruit and the cooked food as well as it should. The second pointer says eating fruits with sugar is equally bad. Like I told you, a fruit is a powerhouse of nutrition. And if you talk about refined sugar, it's just the opposite. Sugar has an overloading effect on the body. Consuming sugar in any form disrupts your system. And if you're eating it with this fruit again, it causes the fruit to ferment in the digestion process. Hence, make it a point that please do not mix your fruit with a cooked meal and neither with sugar also. Drinking water, a very, very common mistake amongst most of us. Most of us prefer to have water with our meals. Especially for me, like a dietitian, I see clients who want to lose weight. For them, the easiest option to lose weight is have glasses and glasses of water before a meal. It gives them that satisfaction that if I'm full, on a full stomach, I will end up eating less. So let me have more and more of water before I start eating a meal. Other way, a lot of people still have the tendency, they have their glasses or the bottle of the water just next to their dining chair. So the minute you eat a morsel of food, the next thing is you want your sip of water to put the food down. But what are you doing in the process? If you're mixing your water with your meal, if you're mixing water while eating your meal, you're diluting that food. It's a much more effort for your stomach and your digestive organs to digest and assimilate a diluted meal. Hence, water, if wanted, if needed, should be had at least 15-20 minutes before a meal, and post a meal, your body needs at least 45 minutes for that food to begin assimilating in the body, and then you can go and grab your glass of water. Eating vegetables boiled in too much water, or deep fried, or cooked in the microwave oven, or canned, processed. All these foods is nothing but junk. It's only bulk, it's only taste, but by itself it has no nutritive value on its own. By developing good eating habits and by following certain simple principles like eating the right food, right as per your season, right as per your body, right as per your nutritional needs. By giving that food that will give us enough nutrients, eating at regular intervals, not having too many long gaps in between your meals, avoiding excessively spicy and fried food, a very important point. Not eating in excess. It's like a boon to learn not to eat in excess, because anything in moderation is good for the body. The minute you go overboard, you're crossing your own lines. Going to bed immediately after eating, not giving your body enough time to digest the food. So never sleep over a major meal. Many gastrointestinal disorders can be prevented and even cured. Foods like garlic, fresh vegetables, fiber foods and fruits help to maintain the acid-alkali balance of the body. So major consumption of these nutrients in our meals should be taken care of. More than knowing what to eat, it is good to know what not to eat also in order to prevent certain problems. Like a diabetic knows that he is not supposed to have too much of sugar in his diet, not too much of starchy foods in the diet. The best way to be healthy is to not become a slave of our taste buds and instead learn to control them. There are various foods and herbs that can prevent many such disorders, and when taken in the right combination, they can help us to lead a healthy life. So relating to today's topic, disorders of the digestive system, I have selected a few disorders which occur in our day-to-day life, which could be minor, which could be a major issue for many of us, reoccurring again and again, and how we can cure them naturally just through the basis of diet. The first problem, mouth ulcers, very common. It's a non-malignant lesion in the oral cavity which can be caused by microorganisms, it can be caused by nutritional deficiencies and stress and tensions. When your B12 is low, when your D3 is low, when you're low on nutrients, mouth ulcers can occur very frequently. Oral ulcers can also be due to food allergy, particularly to people who are sensitive to gluten. Gluten is found in cereals like wheat, rye oats bile. So people who are gluten intolerant have a common reoccurring problem of mouth ulcers. These sores usually appear when the body's resistance or the immunity is low. They appear as small red swellings as blisters, maybe in single or as multiple sores near the molar teeth, inside the lips or in the lining of the mouth. A canker sore has a yellowish or a greyish white center with a red border. Now how can we cure mouth ulcers just through the basis of diet? Garlic acts as a natural antibiotic and immune stimulant. Allicin, the main ingredient in garlic, is a major antibacterial agent. So the minute you have mouth ulcer, all you need to do is just pound it and just apply it over your ulcer. Leave it for an hour and then you can gargle or have water. But garlic is one of the best ways to fight mouth ulcer naturally. Garlic, as I told you, as an applicant or maybe consumed in food raw. The minute you cook garlic, if it is overcooked, all its nutritional properties are lost. In warm organic cow milk, you can macerate the mixture of rose petals with honey. Or you can eat a teaspoon of paste made of rose petals with honey 3 times a day. This is maybe a way of saying how we consume gulkan. For the gulkan, what you get in the market is rose petals and sugar. What you need to do is have rose petals with organic honey because it has a cooling effect on the stomach. The rose petals and the honey also. Add 2 plum fruits soaked in vinegar. You need to take plum fruits and you need to soak it overnight in vinegar. The fruit has to be added to boiled water and just put a pinch of salt. Use this warm water to gargle twice a day. Gargle with warm water with a pinch of salt and turmeric powder. We all know that turmeric is an antiseptic. So even if you use turmeric, make a paste of it and just apply it over your ulcer and just leave it for a minute or 2. It will help you in healing it completely. Rinse your mouth 4 times a day with half cup of water mixed with 1 drop of lavender oil or peppermint oil, because both the oils have a cooling effect on your body, on your digestive system. Avoid eating acidic and pickled foods like walnuts, strawberries and tomatoes. Walnuts because they go easily rancid. So if you're prone to getting ulcers, till the time you're facing the issue, just avoid these few foods for a bit. The second problem is food poisoning, often seen in youngsters these days who are dependent on eating outside food, even in kids, or it could be a seasonal disorder when rains are frequent or when the food has been infected. This is caused by contamination of foods by germs, when the food is handled carelessly, improper storage, excessive canning or cooking, because the minute it's being processed, all the nutrition is lost. When the food is not well kept, bacteria multiply in the food at room temperature. Hence, that's the reason we store all our milk and milk products, all our fresh produce, fruits and vegetables in the cold storage, in the fridge. Hence, refrigeration of sensitive foods is very necessary. When the stomach is irritated, even eating fatty foods can cause food poisoning, because fatty food, meaning deep fried food or too refined food or foods rich in trans fats, it has a direct effect on your digestive system, on your stomach, on your liver as well. The liver is the main organ that helps break down the fats of your body. So the minute you are eating this, it could aggravate your situation. Eating non-vegetarian foods which is infected by bacteria itself can also cause food poisoning. Majority of the cases of food poisoning are always due to infected non-vegetarian foods. Some common symptoms that can be noticed as a cause of food poisoning. For example, if the food poisoning has been caused by mushroom, it will lead to abdominal pain, it can lead to vomiting, diarrhea, and in the longer run, prolongedly, it can even cause liver damage. Food poisoning by eating contaminated meat results in severe abdominal cramps. It causes nausea, it lead to diarrhea, and ultimately to fever. Food poisoning by eating shellfish can leave itching and red and blue rashes on the body. The first reaction, somebody having an allergy to shellfish, is getting a skin rash. It's a very, very common symptom. Food poisoning by eating contaminated street foods can also cause nausea, vomiting and abdominal pain. These are some of the symptoms. And now how do we make it good? Develop healthy eating habits, which is a must. Eating freshly prepared garden produce prevents food poisoning from occurring. Make the patient drink plenty of warm water because warm water helps settle down your system. The best antidote for food poisoning is ginger. The minute you have nausea, the first thing that is recommended to a patient is to have ginger juice because it's very, very effective. The same is with food poisoning. Avoid eating off-color, off-smelling foods and foods from bulging cans. Crush a small piece of ginger again and mix it with vinegar, preferably rice vinegar, and drink the mixture to get rid of food poisoning due to fish or shellfish. Ginger and rice vinegar, because they are so potent, they'll immediately help relieve your system of food poisoning due to these non-vegetarian food consumption. To get rid of food poisoning due to meat and fish again, you can drink a cup of warm water mixed with a quarter spoon of dry fried common salt, another strong agent. If shellfish causes discomfort and one wishes to induce vomiting, drink a glass of water mixed with a teaspoon of powder of rye, mustard seeds as they all know it. Pectin absorbs toxin. The minute you've had food poisoning, pectin is one of the best sources to help you overcome that. Give plenty of scraped apples as it is the richest form of pectin for poisoning due to meats, eggs or non-vegetarian foods. Chewing jeera, caraway seeds will also give you relief from stomach upset and nausea feeling. If you don't wish to chew the seeds by itself, you can also have an infusion, a stronger infusion which makes you feel nice and light. Mix a teaspoon of the juice of fresh ginger in a glass of orange juice and drink it 3 times a day. If you've been suffering from food poisoning for a longer time, this is something that you could do over the period of a day. For food poisoning due to spoiled food or stale food, drink strong tea of cinnamon. Cinnamon has varied benefits for your digestive system. It's a digestive, it's a stimulant. Hence, even an infusion of cinnamon with a spoon of honey twice a day helps relieving your food poisoning symptoms. Acidity and hyperacidity. One of the very, very, very common issues people are dealing with today. I see people as young as 23, 24 coming to me with complaints of acidity, and I see people at the age of 70 also suffering from the same issue. What are the causes? This is a condition of presence of excess acid in the stomach. The way nature has designed our body, our stomach has a lining of hydrochloric acid. Now due to various reasons, be it long eating gaps, be it eating the wrong kind of food, when the secretion of acid is at the highest in the stomach, that is when you see symptoms of acidity and hyperacidity. The common causes are stress, long meal gaps or poor eating habits, which results in an imbalance in the acid-alkali combination within the body, mainly the stomach, and it disrupts the digestive system. There is an intense feeling of discomfort in the pit of the stomach, which could be over your chest region also. A burning sensation in the abdominal area where the stomach is empty, and it could also lead to frequent belching. How can we handle acidity? How can we tackle it? If one is prone to frequent acidity attacks, it's a must that you increase in your diet consumption of alkalizing food, of main alkalizers. Now what are the alkalizers and neutralizers? They are your fresh fruits and vegetables in the form of carrots, celery, spinach, or your cereal like barley and peach. Citrus fruit like lemon has a net alkalizing effect. Lemon is citric acid, but the minute you consume it in the body, it leaves behind alkaline salts. So that's the reason lemon juice can also be used as an alkalizer, one of the very effective ways of taking care of your acid attack. Eating a raw radish or carrot before a meal will help prevent acidity because they are acid neutralizers. Drink a glass of white gourd melon juice every morning, empty stomach for a week. This is good for people who catch up on acidity with age. You know, with age you have frequent acidity attacks. So this is something that you could follow as a habit regularly. Drinking every 2 hours once without any other food a glass of cucumber juice, because cucumber is a coolant, so it really helps relieve you of your acid attack. When you have been suffering from acidity for a prolonged period of time, what you could do is go on a juice fast and drink fresh juice of grapes, orange, carrot and spinach separately every 2 hours. You could do it over a period of 1 or 2 days to relieve your body of the acid attack. Drink a glass of fresh juice of raw carrot, fresh celery with apple, lemon, raw beetroot or raw tomato before meals. Drink a glass of hot infusion of peppermint or chamomile before each meal for a week. Chamomile also helps cool your stomach, your system. Avoid taking alcohol, coffee, tea also. Aerated drinks, all meats, oily foods, fishes, eggs, cheese, cream, fried foods, even milk and milk products. These are certain foods that you need to keep away when you're suffering from acidity. In certain cases, heaty spices like carom seeds, which we know as ajwain, asafoetida, hing, garlic and cinnamon may also promote acidity. If you're prone to having a heaty stomach, this is something that you need to keep away for a while. Flatulence, again related to your gas and acidity issues. Flatulence means, in common terms, accumulation of gas in the stomach and intestine. Lactose intolerant people who lack the enzyme lactase. For people who cannot tolerate milk and milk products, this is a very common occurring problem. They suffer from flatulence frequently. Hence, excess consumption of milk can cause flatulence in such type of people. Certain foods also tend to form gas formation. For example, eating fermented foods regularly can cause this problem. Eating spicy food can cause this problem. Eating refined and processed foods can cause this problem. Heavy usage of laxatives and antibiotics can also cause production of gas, because it directly affects the lining of the healthy bacteria in your stomach. Heavy usage of laxatives and antibiotics affects that. It is the gas produced by the bacteria that gives that characteristic odor when expelled. The remedial measures to take care of flatulence would be to increase in the daily diet bland foods, to have a good protein diet and a low fatty diet. It is better to eat cooked or at least steamed food, steamed vegetables rather than eating raw ones, because raw tends to produce more flatulence, more gas in the system. You can season your food regularly with hing. Other spices like cumin, that is jeera, black pepper, garlic, turmeric, haldi, sauteed in a teaspoon of olive oil also helps in preventing gas formation. So just you need to saute these spices in a bit of olive oil, and just a teaspoon of olive oil will help you release the symptom. Eating a ripe papaya before meals also prevent flatulence. Papaya is one of the most friendly fruits when it comes to your stomach and your digestive system. So that would also really help. If you're cooking vegetables, now this is again a very important point, and in particularly the dry seeds of the bean family, your chole, your rajma, your pulses, your whole pulse, you need to soak them well overnight. You can use fresh water to cook them for a few minutes and throw that water again. And then you can continue cooking with fresh water with a pinch of turmeric powder. Cooking this way helps prevent gas formation. Many people complain of having gas issue, blaming it on the chole, on the rajma. It is not exactly the pulse, it is the way it has been cooked and it has been put in front of you. Chew a few caraway seeds or jeera and cardamom or elaichi seeds after each meal to get relief from flatulence. Drinking a glass of radish juice before meals will also help. Fry a teaspoon of carom seeds or ajwain in olive oil and mix it with 2 tablespoons of warm cooked unpolished rice. So you just need to have 2 teaspoons of rice and you need to mix just sauteed ajwain seeds with it. Add a pinch of salt to it and eat before your main meals for 3 days. Drinking a glass of infusion of the mixture would be 1 part of fresh ginger, 1 part of chamomile leaves, and half a part of soft fennel seeds, with or without honey after meal. So it's like a decoction. Once you eat a meal, if you feel it's making your system gassy, what you need to do is mix ginger, add chamomile leaves and a bit of soft, let it brew well and just strain and have it. Drinking a glass of infusion, again, mixture of fennel, soft, jeera and akha dhania mixed in equal proportion, again with honey, 2 times a day after meals will also help. These are all natural herbs that we find in our day-to-day kitchen. It's just that we need to know how to make use of them. Drinking after each meal, infusion of any of these herbs help prevent accumulation of gas. The herbs are saunf, betel leaf, that is your pan ka patta, caraway, jeera, elaichi, dalchini, akha dhania, dil beej, neem leaves with honey, which is not very frequently found, but that's also very good for the system. Parsley or peppermint leaves. So any of these herbs, when brewed and taken in the form of an infusion, will help you release your gas and flatulence. When you're having occurring issues of gas, avoid flatulogenic foods. Eating fruits with sugar, that was covered in the first part, that you should never combine your fruits with sugar. Fried foods. Starchy foods and fruit also eaten together produces gas. Followed by a tea of coffee and it will make your symptoms go worse. So these are the common mistakes that we usually do. Eating oatmeal with fruit juice also produces a lot of gas. Also, when you have these issues, you need to avoid your aerated drinks and not consume alcohol. In children, in small children, in babies, we see they have gas and flatulence issues very common. So what can we do for them? Give 2 teaspoons of the infusion of coriander leaves, that is your dhania, with a teaspoon of honey after each meal for a week. The other thing is to give a teaspoon of infusion of saunf after every meal for 5 days. Saunf has a cooling effect on the stomach. You can also apply lavender oil over the abdomen area of your child and massage gently. You can apply olive oil on the tummy and then place on top of it a warm betel leaf, a pan ka patta. Just warm it over a pan and just leave it for 2 minutes twice a day. Belching. This is again one symptom that occurs. It's a sign of digestive disorder like indigestion. The minute you have indigestion, you end up belching and burping. Swallowing air due to rapid eating in anxiety or stress can also cause belching. It can also be caused by eating food that putrefies easily into your system and produces a lot of gas or indigestion. For people suffering from belching frequently, they should keep away from carbonated drinks, from alcohol, from flavored foods, from refined products and smoking. They should learn to relax and eat. This is a very, very important point. The remedial measures would be to eat a fresh grapefruit or an orange 3 times a day, the day you see your symptoms of belching occurring to you. You can also boil a glass of organic cow milk. Add in just 10 grams of dry ginger or salt powder. Add in 20 grams of rock sugar or misri and just strain it. You need to drink this milk once a day for 2 weeks. So this is how, using your simple kitchen herbs at home, you can keep your symptoms away of common digestive disorders. You do not need your laxatives, you do not need your antacids, you do not need those strong medicines which ultimately go and affect your liver, your kidney in the longer run. And just by simple measures, you can keep all these disorders at bay.